Good evening. Good evening. As faculty advisor of the Alpha Omega chapter of Pi Theta Epsilon Honorary Society, it is my pleasure to welcome students, friends, family, special guests, faculty, and staff to the 2023 induction ceremony for our newest members, our second induction. I'd like to begin by introducing our dedicated PTE, Pi Theta Epsilon officers. Please stand as I say your name. Kristen Morosi, President. Jane Donahue, our Vice President. Gabby Palazzo, Secretary. And Kelsey Tunstall, Treasurer. They and our other PTE members, can the rest of you stand please if you're in PTE? Have done a tremendous job planning this induction ceremony and getting us started in our inaugural year. And I'm honored to be part of it. Thank you.
Tonight, we have a very special guest who will be offering what I am sure will be very inspiring and motivating remarks to start off the evening. It is my pleasure to introduce Dr. Melissa Sweeting, Program Director.
Thank you. So, according to the American Occupational Therapy Foundation, a primary mission of Pi Theta Epsilon is to support the practice of authentic occupational therapy by promoting research, leadership, and scholarly activities. So I want to spend a few minutes talking about these important concepts. First, what is authentic occupational therapy? In her 1966 Eleanor Clark Slagle lecture, Elizabeth Yerxa identified authentic occupational therapy as being based upon a commitment to the client's realization of his own particular meaning and involving the client. I'm sure that by this point in your education, you fully understand the importance of choosing occupations that are meaningful to the client as both the means and the end, as well as using a client-centered approach. We have to be careful that we do not impose our own values or beliefs about what is important to the client, but rather allow the client to guide our selection of therapeutic interventions. It's always been my habit to actively engage clients in that goal-setting process. Some of you have heard me tell this story before. In Cohort 4, I don't think you have because I didn't teach you in your first year. So bear with me for just a minute. I once had a client who told me that making her bed was the most important occupation to which she would like to return. Trust me when I tell you, bed making is not a value of mine. I never would have thought to include it in her plan of care. And ranking as the most important, I just can't imagine. So you see, the client then proceeded to tell me that as a child, her mother insisted that the minute she stepped out of bed each morning, that she make her bed. After that, she was free to go ahead and begin her day. That occupation became such an important part of her daily routines that at 70 plus years of age, she still felt that it was part of her identity and that her day could not truly begin until her bed was properly made. While I may have believed that regaining her ability to brush her teeth while standing at the sink or gathering her clothes and getting dressed independently was more important, I still allowed the client's values to guide our sessions rather than my own. This is just one example of authentic occupational therapy. The next portion of Pi Theta Epsilon mission I'd like to discuss is that of promoting research. As far back as the original constitution for the National Society for the Promotion of Occupational Therapy, which is the precursor to the AOTA that was developed back in 1917, research related to the therapeutic use of occupation was encouraged. In 1998, in an Issue Is column within the American Journal of Occupational Therapy, Diane Parham argued that the proper domain of occupational therapy research is the study of occupation and its applications to healthcare. She placed emphasis upon studying the meaning of occupation and how occupations are valued and completed by human beings. Parham argued that only after having a good understanding of the core concept of occupation can we then begin to apply the therapeutic use of occupation in practice to promote health outcomes. Fast forward to 2011, and the American Occupational Therapy Association, together with the American Occupational Therapy Foundation, published an official occupational therapy research agenda. The purpose of this agenda was to outline the priorities for occupational therapy research. The highest priority was placed on the categories of intervention research, translational research, and the health services research. By focusing on research that validates occupation-based interventions, we can help with the intent of recent healthcare reform. That is, we can be sure that we're providing the most effective interventions in the most cost-efficient manner while improving the experiences of our clients. The series of evidence-based practice courses guided by Dr. Christine McConnell and opportunities for research participation to which you are exposed here at Wingate lay the groundwork for you. I encourage you to always maintain a sense of curiosity and an appreciation for scholarly inquiry. The next topic of importance to Pi Theta Epsilon is leadership. Leadership is a concept that is near and dear to my heart. I've taught leadership at the doctoral level for 11 years, and I love the topic so much that I completed a PhD in leadership in 2017. I can't stop learning about it. A few years back, when Jenny Stoffel was president of the AOTA, she was very vocal about her challenge to every occupational therapy practitioner to embrace our roles as leaders. And she was very instrumental in helping to establish some outstanding leadership development initiatives that were put forth by AOTA. This concept that every one of us can be a leader is new for some. Too often, we believe that only those who have a titled position are leaders. But actually, emergent leaders can sometimes be even more influential and powerful, in a good way, than titled leaders. Emergent leaders are those who don't hold a titled position yet, are those individuals who rise to the occasion when the situation demands. These are also the people that seem to be opinion leaders, or those to whom others look for support. Additionally, I argue that assuming the role of occupational therapist automatically places you in a leadership position. After all, as OTs, we must lead our clients through the rehabilitation process every day, coaching them, supporting them, guiding them to the shared vision of wellness and participation. I would bet that as the top 35% of your class, you are already viewed as leaders by your classmates. How many of you have organized a study group, planned a social activity to relieve a bit of school stress, like the formal weekend before last? Or maybe you volunteered to lead a group activity or a class project. You see, leadership activities may be on a grand scale and come with a title, or they may be informal and behind the scenes. Some examples: be a mentor, join a committee, run for office. Share your knowledge and passion for OT by speaking to high schoolers or writing a blog. Or how about volunteering for an NCOTA or AOTA committee? Once you graduate, the opportunities will continue. Maybe you will run for an NCOTA office, write an article, teach a class, become a clinical fieldwork educator. The opportunities really are endless. Once you can see yourself as the leader that you truly are, the sky's the limit. The final component of the Pi Theta Epsilon mission is to promote scholarly activities. You might not have had the opportunity to learn about a wise man named Ernest Boyer just yet, but he's highly regarded as an expert on scholarship. In a landmark publication, Boyer described 4 types of scholarship: discovery, integration, application, and teaching. The scholarship of discovery is what most people think of when they hear the word research. It's the act of developing new knowledge. I've already talked a good bit about research, so I'll move on to the next form of scholarship. The scholarship of integration involves making connections across various disciplines to create new insights. Think about what we can learn from our multidisciplinary friends, such as physical therapists, speech therapists, neurologists, psychologists, and so on, in relation to how our clients perform their occupations. The scholarship of application is just what it sounds like. It's the application of knowledge. It is taking what is learned through the scholarship of discovery and integration and putting it into practice. When we're working as evidence-based practitioners and utilizing interventions that have been proven to be effective through research, we are acting as scholars employing the scholarship of application. Lastly is the scholarship of teaching, which AOTA has adopted as the scholarship of teaching and learning. In his work, Boyer recounted Aristotle's famous statement that teaching is the highest form of understanding. Sure enough, one cannot teach without first processing the knowledge on the subject. However, that is not a static process. One must continuously seek to learn in order to teach. What you are learning now in school is only the beginning. The scholarship of learning and teaching not only applies to professors or teachers in some sort of school, but think about how much teaching an occupational therapist must do on a daily basis. We teach our colleagues, we teach our customers, our clients, our community. In conclusion, I hope that I've provided you with a little more insight into the importance of the mission of Pi Theta Epsilon and how these concepts of research, leadership, and scholarship can help you develop a practice of authentic occupational therapy. I would like to congratulate each of you for your academic accomplishments and for your acceptance into this prestigious honor society. Being a member of this elite group is not only a great honor, but it also comes with great responsibility. I urge you to contemplate the information I've shared with you today. As you continue your education, immerse yourselves in the potential that lies before you in relation to research, leadership, and scholarship. Hold on to your passion about occupation and occupational therapy, and embrace your future as an occupational therapy scholar. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Sweetman, for those inspirational words that might get them through their last day of exams tomorrow, if they were all paying attention. Wonderful. We will now begin the induction ceremony.
By appearing before us, you have signified your desire to become a member in Pi Theta Epsilon. Each of you should understand fully the meaning of its name, its purposes, and its ideals. Pi is the first letter in the Greek word for advancement. Theta is the first letter in the Greek word for therapeutic. Epsilon is the first letter of the Greek word for occupation. Therefore, Pi Theta Epsilon stands for Advancement in Occupational Therapy.
The purpose of the Honor Society will be to recognize and encourage scholastic excellence in occupational therapy students, to contribute to the advancement of the field of occupational therapy through scholarly activities, to provide a vehicle of professional entry-level students enrolled in accredited programs in occupational therapy to exchange information and to collaborate regarding scholarly activities.
Pi Theta Epsilon strives to instill in its members the ideal of respect for learning and commitment to scholarship throughout one's professional life. By inviting you to join us, we have conferred upon you an honor and an obligation. The honor is in recognition of your integrity, your high standards of scholarship, and the promise of your future as one of achievement. In accepting the invitation to become a member of this honor society, you have taken upon yourself the obligation to devote your efforts to the advancement of occupational therapy through scholarship and research, and to the maintenance of the high standards of Pi Theta Epsilon.
Will the new members please stand and come up when your name is called? Just when your name is called. Heather Barsikoff. Cameron Bordeaux. Emma Brewer. Marissa Holzenbach. Savannah Horton. Haley Jordan. Claire Kuchvalik. Shay Lomas. Ava Murchison. Catherine Taylor. Mackenzie Whitley. Megan Williams.
We are completing the requirements of an education. We are learning how to learn. The real education is just beginning. The application and broadening of knowledge, testing our interest and diligence in our work. We are challenged today and in every coming day to go beyond the requirements of an education, to continue to learn for the knowledge and the growth it brings to us, and to help others meet their needs to the best of our abilities. Excellence in purpose and scholarship is the key to opportunity and carries with it vast rewards to ourselves and others. This honor society, Pi Theta Epsilon, challenges us for excellence.
Will all new, current, honorary members and alumni please join us to reading the pledge? Aware of the high calling of the scholar and the great opportunity of service through occupational therapy, I hereby pledge my efforts to further its purposes, to uphold the ideal of Pi Theta Epsilon, and to prove myself a worthy member of this honor society.
Your candles represent the light of knowledge and the warmth you all impart by sharing your knowledge with others. As members of Pi Theta Epsilon, Alpha Omega chapter, we ask you to carry this light with you in your career as an occupational therapist, but you can now blow out your candles and be seated. Or turn them off. You can take them with you and be seated.
You have repeated the words of a pledge. The honor of this is held within you. You can carelessly toss it aside, or you can make it a meaningful part of your studies and outside activities. What you decide will influence the other members of your honor society and others outside your honor society. It becomes then your responsibility to integrate the pledge you have taken and fulfill the goals as you are able. In this way, the integrity of this organization, members past and present, and occupational therapy itself will be strengthened and maintained. And now I would like to introduce Dr. Melissa Sweetman again.
So before I wrap things up, I'd like to share some exciting news with you. 2 of our cohort 3 Pi Theta Epsilon members were recently awarded the Pi Theta Epsilon Research Grant. The research grant was established for the 2022, 2023, and the 2023, 2024 years in order to support and provide financial assistance to Pi Theta Epsilon students and alumni members who are completing an individual master's thesis or doctoral capstone. This is to support the Honor Society's mission of promoting research and scholarly activity. The specific purpose of this grant is to assist with costs directly related to completing their individual thesis or capstone. So we are very proud to announce that Daisy Williams and Taylor Crum, who both weren't able to make it tonight, you can tell them that we gave them a shout out. But we're very proud to announce that they were actually awarded the top 2 of 3 grants that were issued this year, which is not bad for an inaugural, I can't say an inaugural right back to back. Pretty awesome for the first time PTE members. So in closing, I would like to congratulate each one of you Wingate scholars on being inducted into this prestigious honor society. I'm so excited to see how your love for scholarship grows and manifests in the coming years. Thank you to each of our guests who are joining in person and online. I know that the support that you offer our students is invaluable and much appreciated. Thank you so much for being here. Congratulations again. And students and faculty, if you will come up on the stage for a photo, we'll get that taken care of and then we'll be all done. So thank you so much.